Hi everyone, this is Scott Blurton, the director, producer, and jack of all trades on the Micro Budget film The Canvasser. Since we stopped filming principal photography back in fall 2018, we've had a few inquiries, when it's coming out and how is it going and why is it taking so long. And I just wanted to give a quick update of the progress and sort of give you an idea of what's going on and why it might be taking the amount of time that it is. Now, with the Canvasser, the principal of photography, we spent a number of months getting it into order and get what you would call like a rough cut. And we viewed that rough cut was originally 2 hours and 15 minutes. Now, after a couple of subsequent cuts, now we're on the third cut, I would say we're down to about 93 minutes. And even though we haven't reviewed it with, done a screening for it with the production team, I expect that that 93 minutes will be very close to the final length of the movie. And as such, I've been spending the last few months, probably the last 4 or 5 months, working on color correction, which given and also getting ready for my upcoming wedding in a couple weeks. Yay! Um, so I wanted to take the moment here to sort of give you an idea through a 5 minute scene that I just finished color correcting, all the work that goes into it, and not only color correcting, but there was a number of visual effects that we had to do, replacing particular parts in the screen and recomposing them. And as well, we've also done a lot of motion graphics, which have eaten up a lot of time, not only to learn how to do it, but also to do them properly and do them well. So basically, with the color correction here, there's basically three things that we were working on. One is exposure, making sure it's exposed better, adjusting the levels of brightness. Saturation, we haven't done too much, but also white balancing would be a bigger one. Where when we shot early on, you see a lot of red in the screen. This is partly due to our inexperience and the fact that we weren't white balancing correctly. We've made efforts to try and you can sort of see it in this shot here, which I'm frozen on, and also skin tones. We've sort of gotten a lot of skin tones that were magenta or pink, and we've tried to push these towards the proper skin value, which is more closer to orange. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this 5 minute sequence and talk to you while doing so. I'm going to talk to you about what was involved in that and try and give you an idea of how it looks. And what we're going to do is we're going to have split it between top and bottom. So the top is the original uh, edited version of this scene for, excuse me, that was probably for our second or third cut. Yeah, probably for a third cut. This would be what we had. And then for the next upcoming cut, which is going to be color corrected and have a whole bunch of like corrections and fixes to it with the near final version of the motion graphics and the near final version of the visual effects and corrections, it's going to look closer to what it is down the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and hit uh, play right now. You can see here we've tried to, this one's not too different, but you can definitely see on my skin, made it a little bit more orange. A lot of work here in skin tones, a little bit less more in exposure. And you can definitely see it's a big improvement. I was worried that the orange would look a bit weird, but I've definitely been working through to try and make it look better. And you can see here there's a major improvement. Sorry about the noise plank, I didn't have it muted. And you can see right here, that's a big difference. Like it looks weird up top. It looks like it's purple. It looks like it's red. And in the bottom line, you can see that the orange skin tones are really coming. Oh, that's a good improvement on exposure. And you can just sort of see here, you can see the whites a little bit better. And you can just sort of generally, oh, we've added an exterior shot to try and establish that it's now rain. And really here you can see the difference making. Oh yeah, here's a composite visual effect shot. We added rain. We had to take out the window, put the rain in, change the color, and then put the window back in. Um, Took a little bit of time. That one wasn't too bad. We've added Vilma. We've added rain in with Vilma scene. And here the shop owner was underexposed, and so we had to bring it up. And as you can see, we've done actually a pretty good job. It's a little bit more yellow than I would like, but the yellow helps it match the other shots. Out of all of them, this is the one that doesn't quite look right. We may actually revert to the original because the orange skin kind of doesn't, it kind of blends with the background, which is more orange, and it just doesn't quite look right. It looks like there's a hint of green in there, and I had a really difficult time getting that green out and making it more orange. So it just might be better to go to the original, although it doesn't look so bad now that I look at it. Oh, another visual effects shot. Yep, looks pretty good. Can't complain. It looks better than I was expecting. um, and again, here the orange doesn't look that bad. It's just there's no contrast with the background because the background itself is kind of orange. Yep, more rain, and this one I had to correct it and cut out the umbrella so that it would be in the foreground. Otherwise, it just didn't look realistic. And that is a turkey shot right there, where we had to cut Vilma out and cut the door and do some transparencies with the glass in order to make it look right. But it's pretty seamless. It looks really good. The problematic ones come up later, and you'll see, oh, this one has definitely been, we've upped the exposure. We had to add some noise reduction because it was getting a lot of grain, and trying to get to match the other shots was tricky. Again, we tried to up the exposure. And Vilma, we've also tried to work on Ilma's skin tone to make it more towards orange, make it look more natural. And again, there's rain. Again, this one was tricky. It didn't quite want to go towards orange, but we had to work with it and try and make it look better. And you can see it wants to go back to magenta, but we didn't. We found that when we pushed it, it just started to look really weird. And so we've kind of pulled back a little bit in order to make it look natural. That one's I'm pretty proud of, but it looks a little grayed out. That's not too bad. There's a missing frame there that we had to correct. This one was this, we shot this without the actor, and we had the actor in there through green screen, and he just came off looking really purple. So it took a lot of color correction work to actually get his skin tone right and actually get his suit black. Same with Vilma. Vilma actually is there. It's just more like trying to push towards orange without making it look weird. And that one actually turned out really well. It was also tricky because I would correct his face, but you would have this purple hue that would be on his hairline, but we managed to get it looked at pretty good. Big improvement there. Vilma looks a lot better. And again, we've added rain, but that's the shot of death. That's the one I've been really struggling with, and I think the only way I'm going to fix that, and this one too looks a little bit weird, you can see the fuzziness on the right, is to make the rain darker, more transparent, and make it darker so it blends a little bit better. Vilma looks good there. That shot actually works really well. Again, I think the rain is just a little bit too predominant in some of these. It should be more out of focus, and it should be darker. It shouldn't be that bright. But all in all, I'm pretty, yeah, we had troubles here with her face, trying to get it towards orange, but with you can see on her skin highlights, there's some highlights which made it tricky in order to color correct, and then match the next shot where she walks out. Again, big improvement there. That looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. And then I'm pretty happy with the shot where she's walking. Oh yeah, you can see the signs. We've had to replace those as well. It was done quite early, so you can't really see it between these two, but those were originally signs of my name for my municipal campaign, and we digitally replaced them. So they can look a little weird. We may have to go back and make it a little bit out of focus, because they're a little bit focused on right now, but I may have to go back and do them again or to make them more invisible. Oh, here we go. This is from here, trying to match this shot with this shot. It was really tricky. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I also added some sharpening in order to make it look a little bit more in focus, because I was a little bit out of focus there by the end. So generally speaking, you can sort of see in this last shot the major differences. We've tried to correct for the white balance. You can see the wall, which was white, is now more white, but it's not quite there. Skin tones, tried to get the skin tones correct and make it more orange so it pops a little more from the background. And bringing up exposure in order to take areas that are a little bit too dark and make them a little bit more bright. Now it's not perfect, but as far as like someone who doesn't do this professionally, I'm pretty happy with how that's turning out. And that's the type that gives you an idea of the amount of work that's been going into this to try and get this up and running. Earlier on, we were using a kit lens that came with the Canon T3i Rebel, and it was only about after the first year in production, which would correlate to probably every scene shot after, every scene that comes after this. We had the Sigma wide open low light lens, which dramatically improved the quality of the video we were getting. And I'm hoping that will help speed up the color correction process. Also, the visual effects, just to fix what I should have had right in the first case, and now just to add rain, I've eaten up a lot of time, and hopefully moving forward, that won't be as necessary. So anyway, I expect that we'll probably spend another 70 hours on color correction, probably another 40 hours on upgrading the audio and cleaning it up. And then we'll do another screening, try and get the video locked in place so we don't have to make more corrections then. And then now will lead us to start with adding sound effects and ambience, and then finally music, and then mixing. So we're looking at probably spring 2020 before we get something that would be something that we could actually have as a finished product. Anyway, thanks for letting me listen and let me rant, and thanks for taking a look at the video and see all the improvements we would make into it. This is Scott Blurton from The Canvasser, signing off.